Howdy folks, it's Zach and welcome back to our Star Wars tips and tricks section, and today I am the very special guest of an entirely different channel. This is Star Wars Central. Yes, you guys know him as Sam, and now I'm getting to know him too. So anyway guys, get comfortable, sit back, relax, because it's about to get amazing. Guys, if you're tuning in and you've never heard my voice before, my name is Zak Ember, and you can check out my channel, Zak Ember, here on YouTube. And I am subscribed to this channel. And if you guys are interested, you guys can just pop in Zak Ember into YouTube search bar, and you will find me.
Hashtag shameless plug.
Oh, very not even shameless. That was like
no regrets.
That's me cross promotional, cross promoting. Getting the word out. I mean, dude, you have 8,000 subscribers. That's 8 times the amount of people who view my channel. That to me is amazing, sir. Amazing.
Well, let's try and send some of these guys over because your content is obviously really, really cool. And I brought you here specifically for this video. I did want SWTOR here too, but unfortunately she wasn't available, which kind of sucks, but she's really busy now. She's got her own thing to do. And basically the entire topic of this video is going to be a suggestion box type thing, where normally I would go to the suggestion box forum and I would hand choose a couple of different suggestions, and I would give blah blah blah. I would give them a voice a little bit and see what people think. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to grab a few suggestions which you think would be cool to bring to the game, obviously excluding anything huge like ops and new classes, stuff like that, because everybody knows, you know, that's a given. And but yeah, I mainly want to focus on you. I might throw one in myself, but I reckon you've probably got a few good ones hidden in that pretty amazing mind of yours.
Yes, it shall be an evil suggestion. You know, it's funny when you were talking about that, and we kind of were doing the prep work to get ready for this show. For those of you who may not know this, actually, Sam and I, we've actually been talking for probably about a good hour before this show even started, which is kind of cool. So obviously, I'd start with, I think SWTOR really needs a new class. I'm just kidding. We talked about a lot of different stuff, and so I say, yeah, not only have you guys probably thought about it yourselves, we probably just discussed it for the last hour. No, honestly, one of the little things that I thought would always really be very awesome in this game would be the option to, just like you do with your the character design menu for your gear, I would love to see us do that with weapons. Because I have things like the Gree lightsaber that just look amazing. It's very cool. And it's legacy bound, so I mean, yes, I could pass it back and forth between other characters, but ripping in and out mods and, you know, dealing with all that sometimes, it would just be nice to just be able to click a button, pay the credit fee, and then just have the lightsaber of the character I'm on look like the Gree lightsaber. You know what I'm saying?
I completely agree. Like, even if they made the credit amount that you had to obviously pay, even if they made that like 200k, I think most people would be willing to probably pay that price to keep their weapon stamped over what they were currently using.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the special blades like that, the Green lightsaber actually has. Now, I ain't saying size is everything, folks. Okay, that's not what old Zacky's saying. But that particular lightsaber does have a longer blade length than your standard lightsaber. And so if you were to have like the Blade Master's lightsaber from the cartel market, which I did get because it was one of the few lightsabers out there that had an inherently blue lightsaber crystal to it, which I dig. You know, when you're starting off as a peon scrub on Tython, you don't want to be swinging around that like, you know, wooden Shoto stick like that they kind of give you at the start. I mean, that just looks ridiculous. I want a lightsaber, dude. And so I got that so I can always have it. But then the Green lightsaber actually has like an extended blade. That, and I think the Rakul lightsaber might as well, but the hilt for that just looks ridiculous. So it's nice if you could just, you know, click a button and have that. Recently, I'd taken a little bit of a break while I was on vacation during a part of the summer. And when I came back, I was actually shocked to find that one of my little quality of life improvements had actually been put in the game, which was that now if you're a dual wielder and you're wielding vibroblades, both of which now show on your back.
Yeah.
And I was like, that because one of my characters is a Sith Marauder, and he's all cyborged out. I mean, it is cool. If I was going to enter into a fashion contest in Star Wars, he's the guy I'm entering. Okay, he looks awesome, and that's one of the linchpin things. And every time he'd put those blades away, you'd only see the one in the back. I can tell you, it's like, guys. If I can't mention this enough, little quality of life improvements make
Yeah.
such a big difference. Because immediately, all I wanted to do was stare at this dude's back. And that's all you really get to see as he fights, and I was like, and I was literally just tapping the Z button on my keyboard, like, and blades come out, blades go back on, blades go out, blades go back on, blades go out. I was like, that added at least an extra, like, hours worth of game time. Yes, it did entertain me for at least an hour, where I was like, that was great, that was something we were looking for. And then I was going from outfit to outfit on all my different characters, trying to see like what it would look really good on, because that particular cyborg back has these extra spikes, so it literally looked like it hooked right on them. It was so cool. And then like it's like another little quality of life thing. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 right now, and I was just telling Sam this before the show. I have a level 50 Dragoon, and with certain armor pieces you can raise the visor. And some of these visors are really cool. They'll like slide in from the sides, it's like, so there's like a center line down the face, and they slide in and out, to the right and left, or they might just like lift up, vertically. Oh my God, there's so many different types out there. And in Star Wars, I always thought, man, wouldn't it be cool, if you could control your hoods, because there's a bunch of different hood types in this game, and just having a button you can click, just like hood up, hood down, hood up, hood down. Like, again, at least an hour of gameplay for me. But for everybody else out there, especially because with hoods up, sometimes that cuts out the hair modeling on your character. I just think it'd be cool. I have one of my favorite outfits of all time on my sniper is the old Ricotta, armor set. Now, if you guys are wondering what armor set that is, if you make a brand new level 60 agent, Imperial agent, in the character creation menu, the outfit that they're wearing there is that set. It is it's that blue, white, and brown Imperial agent set. But the thing is that if you make that level 60 character, the hood is down. There was also a few pieces of that armor that could have, the hood up as well. And that's one of my favorite armor sets. And it's a beautiful set. And that's always been one of those ones that I was like, man, that should have that option. Hood up, hood down. Just looks so good.
It's very close to the Agile Reconnaissance set, that one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's a very expensive set to buy, though, if you don't already earn it.
Yeah.
If you from a pack or something.
Yeah, I got that as from one of my guildmates, because I just said, like, I want that. And he was like, here. I was like, that's... By the way, guys, if I have a little tip for you guys, if you are into good-looking outfits, whenever a new pack comes out, if you have some spare credits, just buy when the buying's good, because you'll never know when that piece is going to come in handy later on. And I've had my, this whole summer was the story of me trying to get, oh my God, the Satil Shan armor set and the Reverend Reborn armor set. And when when Satil Shan's armor set first came out, it was like dirt cheap. Everybody got it. It didn't cost anything. Now, add a couple of years of that not being around, and I might have to sell my kidney to get it on the black market. You know what I'm saying?
Just to get the boots, even.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's always the boots. Oh yeah. At one point, I just bit the bullet and paid like $30 million for it. By the way, guys, don't just like save your money. But yeah. So now it's like anytime I can get a piece of armor at a good price now, or I see something previewed and I'm like, ooh, that looks really good, I'll just pay the money for it now, and just grab it. But yeah, I think, as far as like a little change, I'd also like to see, we have the ability to see all those armor sets in your collections. I would also love the ability to just buy it from your collection, a direct sale. Like if you like that piece of armor, buy it. I think BioWare would make out like a bandit, to be perfectly honest. Because when you open up the store that way and say like, look, you can buy anything you want in there. Oh my gosh, there's so much to buy.
Yes,
really,
there is actually.
And instead of the gambling model with the crates, just let people buy the stuff they want. And I guarantee, at least from the moment they do that, they would make a ton of money, because there's a lot out there that people would immediately just go for. And over time, I'm sure you'd still unlock quite a bit more. But that's that's my opinion. I don't know if feasibility wise that's like a model they want to try, but yeah, that would be like a little thing I'd tweak.
Yeah, they'd probably make like every single armor set 1,200 catalog coins. That seems to be what they do anyways.
Hmm.
Maybe like some of the bronze ones, maybe like 450 catalog coins, or something stupid like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, I would like to add on to this little suggestion that you had, and this
Mm.
is something that I thought would actually be really, really awesome because I don't know if you know, but I'm big on customization. Like if there's one thing I
Oh
like to
yeah.
do, it is customize, and I have been fighting for user interface colors, but that's a topic for a different video.
Oh yeah.
um, but just try to imagine, right? Let's say you could go to a customization station, right? And you open up this customization station and you can put a chess piece there, right?
Hmm.
Now, what you can do is you can fully customize this chess piece. You can put a strap along there. Maybe you can put some veteran badges.
Oh.
You can swap out the shoulder pads. You can change the colors. Maybe you want to add a cape. Maybe you want a different cape style. You can put
Hmm.
a hood on there. You can remove the hood. I think something like that would be absolutely amazing for this game because people love customization, especially for a Star Wars game. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that would be so cool. Even with weapons, like with your lightsabers, you can change out the hilt, you can change out the top end bit, you can make it spiky or you can make it blunt. You know, there's like just so many possibilities with that.
Yeah.
It'd be
Well,
really
and
cool.
oh my God, too. I mean, if you're looking for more ways to, make players say, "Shut up and take my money," um, give them customization options where you can go up there. Maybe you start off with some basic ones on how you can update your armor, but then like really cool pieces like raggedy edges. Like when you're looking at the
Yes.
Revan Reborn set, there's torn pieces to it. Well, what if that was like a special customization, and that was something that you earned through either spending some type of currency that you earned up on a raid or something like that. But, then you could walk up to any piece of armor and give it like a raggedy look, if it's like made of cloth or, like a beaten up, like dingy, hue to it if it was metal or something like that.
Yeah.
I would love stuff like that where, you can make your character be the raggedy Jedi or the raggedy bounty hunter or whatever. uh, yeah, 100% with that. That's one of the things that I think makes modding so important for games like Elder Scrolls and why that's so popular is because we do like to have that choice. Bringing your character to life with how they look helps immerse you into the entire experience,
Oh,
because
yes.
that's your character. And I actually had a guy mention on one of my videos because I was just playing around. I was just goofing around. So on one of my Marauders, I had this black and white like heavy armor chest piece, this really cool like cybernetic looking, helmet, not head but helmet, and arms, same thing. But then he had like the Rev Reborn legs and then the Zoxan's foot wraps. So it looked like heavy metal from like the waist up, and then like this raggedy monk from the waist down. And I'd just been playing around with that outfit, but at the end of the day, I was like, damn, that actually looked kind of cool. And I was getting all these people asking, like, I put up this huge video, and all they wanted to know was like, dude, what's that one character wearing? And I was like, oh, okay, forget content. Like, forget whatever else is coming out in this game. Forget whatever huge reveal I'd love to do. I'm like, everybody was asking the question of what this character was wearing. So I think it's fair to say when you can make those little adjustments to your character, it pays off in spades.
Oh yeah, it really does. And just adding to this little adding a raggedy effect to your armor. Like imagine if
Hmm.
it did that automatically. When your durability wears down, it starts to look ragged and just broken, and then you had to repair it to restore its
Oh,
look. That would be
yeah.
pretty damn immersive.
Yeah. Um, God, that would be awesome. Yeah, and I was even thinking for like cybernetic pieces where that maybe cybernetic arm just falls off. Like you took enough
Could you
damage
imagine?
and you're just now a left-handed marauder. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I just think that'd be hilarious. Or your cybernetic helm is off and you're just like fighting with two arms, like flailing. I don't know. Things like that just quirk me up. But when we were speaking of customization, our companions can be customized slightly. I would love to see that added on too as well, because we have a lot of companions now that can't wear new types of gear, or
Yeah.
can't you can't adjust things. Where there's like kind of a set pattern of okay, here's the color, skin, and like eye combination you can make your companion. I'd love to walk up to one of the companion customiz or the customization. Oh my god, what is it called? Player customization terminals, and just say like, "Hey, would you like to adjust your companion for a couple credits?" And make your companion look different. I mean, that'd be cool. And that way, instead of having like the set, like here are the 10 configurations that companion can look, now it's like, hey, yeah, why don't you give Kira Carson the haircut you always wanted, or blue hair, or white eyes, or whatever. I remember. I don't know if you ever played like Dragon's Dogma, but that's one of the first things they do is they
No,
have
we
you
don't
go
do that.
through the character customization twice. One is for the character you're playing as, and one is for your quote unquote main pawn. And it was great. It was like you made your companion look exactly the way you want to, and you actually could get special items in the game. So that way, if you didn't like the way they looked, you can go back and you could tweak it. And
Yeah.
I thought that would be really cool in Star Wars. It's like, dude, I have all these companions. I'm not really a big fan of Rusk, but what if I could actually change the way he looked? And to put him in the armor that I wanted, and then give him like the face or disposition that I wanted, maybe some
Yeah.
scars, because I mean this dude's been in it. He's the guy he's the the renegade shepherd who he's the only guy walking out of the suicide mission. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whatever the cost. I'm like, this guy needs some major scars all over the place. Like half
Oh
his
yes.
face needs to be melted off. You know what I'm saying? And if I could
Missing
just
a
walk.
leg.
Yeah, missing
There we
or
go.
yeah, like a droid leg, and like
Yeah.
the works. Most of my troopers crew have cybernetic parts, by the way, and so yeah, I think things like that they make a huge difference, and it's possible to adjust your character. And most of the companions run off of, with the exception of like a few specialty things like Torian's tattoos, I think, would be otherwise like I think that'd be awesome. The infrastructure's already in the game if you could just walk up and do it.
Yep. It's again, it comes down to customization really does inspire a player attachment because
Hmm.
you did it yourself.
Yeah,
It's that attachment. It pulls you more towards the game.
yeah,
I really feel like it's also great as well for like first impressions. So somebody new to the game sees all the stuff that you can do and it's like, it's pretty good. First
yeah.
impressions are just so much better.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely think you can tell long-term players from the new by just looking around the fleet and just seeing what people are wearing. Because I think you can spot a stock outfit pretty easily.
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to knock it or anything like that. What I love seeing though is how people have creatively taken pieces from all sorts of different places and
yeah,
then colored it, and add in their weapons, color crystals, hair colors, eye colors, all of it. And all of a sudden you have a very unique looking character. And I've actually even told some people who've watched my videos, they're like, how did you put that outfit together? And I was like, well, I had this paladin theme for my Jedi Guardian and I kind of rolled with this. And just that ooh factor is kind of cool. And speaking of customization, have we talked about weapon customization?
yeah. That's the one that you mentioned.
Okay, because
Oh wait,
definitely,
oh no, you said
um,
like
yeah,
stamping one over, didn't you? Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Because would it be neat if you could change like the lightsaber chamber on your lightsaber,
Oh yeah.
where you could see inside of it because there's some lightsabers that can do that, or on your guns, add a scope. Add an
Oh yeah.
underside or an underbarrel, or something to the side,
Bayonet.
or like an effect. I love that. Like if you can get a stock piece that looks really good by itself. One of those pieces that just came out recently was I'm so glad they did this. They added in legacy weapons to the Eternal Championship. By the way, if anyone from BioWare is listening, thank you. I had nothing to do with the tokens that I was earning from there. I was like, I'm not buying gear. I'm not buying these other things. There was a couple cool crystals, but once you have those, they're all legacy bound. Great. Adding in a few legacy weapons, I was like, yes. I really liked the sniper rifle, and I really liked the rifle. And but that base rifle, I was like, dude, what if I could add something that looked kind of like the underbarrel grenade launcher, or like a scope on the
Yep.
top, or something kind of neat on the sides, and bulk it out in some different ways, or give it like a longer rifle butt, like all these little things, help say something about your character, and all those little things. Like, dude, it would not surprise me at all to see somebody, in their stronghold or something like that, just working on that for a few hours. It's easy to get pulled in that way.
Oh yeah. What do you think of the weapon tunings? Are they enough to satisfy your weapon customization?
Gonna be frank, no. Only because most of them are too expensive to buy,
Yeah,
and they're not easy enough to put on multiple characters. Um,
agreed.
where some people had complained right away, it's like, why isn't this lockable in the cartel market? I was kind of sitting there nodding my head as well, like, why isn't it lockable in the cartel market?
Yeah,
That is actually a
they are
really good
really
question.
exclusive modifications. I don't know why
Mhm.
they made them so exclusive either. Because, it's going
Yeah.
to be really difficult for the people rocking two lightsabers or two blaster pistols to tune both their weapons, and it's going to look so odd if you're just rocking one lightning tuned lightsaber and the other one's just there like, yeah, I'm just playing an original.
Yeah.
It doesn't look cool.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping, and this was just me, that if more weapons with special effects had come out, that you could maybe work into a system that if you reverse engineered them, you could learn the weapon tuning and then make it or
Oh,
something like that. Was something I'd kind of hoped they would lean towards, and that way things like the old Zeost lightsaber, the one I was talking about with the electricity, the lightning at the hilts. Well, maybe you reverse engineer that if you somehow got it, and maybe you could learn the lightning tuning, or something like that, or you earn a particular weapon through the chapters that has a cool tuning to it, but then you reverse engineer it and maybe you learn that weapon tuning. And then that way you can either learn to craft it, which still would take some work, but I think players would be pretty down for that if they could make it multiple times and put it on multiple characters. Or you just have that item and then you could customize your next weapon with it or something. I thought that would be kind of cool, where it's a little bit of a tweak, but then it makes it a little less rare, a little bit more accessible. And because weapon tunings have been out for now. I don't have any, none.
you don't have any?
No, I've never bought
Wow.
one, never had one. And there was this part of me that was kind of like, when they first came out, I was like, yeah, they look really cool, and I'd love to get some, but too rich for my blood. And that was kind of the. And by the way, BioWare, if you're listening, again, like if you guys are listening, which you probably are, because Sam has 8,000 subscribers, selfless plug. Um, yeah, it was just, if something is too expensive, I'm not going to spend all the currency I have to get it. And because here's literally what happened to me during the summer, during the Dark versus Light event. There was one really good thing I loved about the Dark versus Light event, which was the Victorious Pioneers armor set. That armor set and the XP bonus that comes on that kicks butt.
Oh yes.
That's a very good set for anybody trying to level up characters. I already have 30 something tunes. It doesn't benefit me nearly as much as it does the first time player, but I was really excited, and I told all the people on my channel, if you're a first time player, you must get this set. One of the things I was a little disappointed in myself, though, was the whole summer long I fought to get the armor sets I'd always wanted: the Revenant Born's armor set, the Zoxan's armor set, the Satil Shan's armor set, and then there was a couple other like silver ones that kind of came out too, that since they got really cheap, I just bought them up anyway. That was like the Reaver's armor set. There was one like Inquisitor looking one that I'd always wanted, and I was like, cool. So I got some things, but man, I paid out the nose, because I might get a few of the pieces I wanted, and then I'd have to go to the GTN to buy the rest, and they were out at outrageous prices. I mean, just outrageous. And then once I actually did get the full Revenant Born armor set, that was my Eiffel Tower, my Mona Lisa, like my Rachmaninoff's third. That was it. That was done. That was the day I actually like put down SWTOR for a while and started looking at other games, because all of a sudden I had it. I'd wanted all these characters, and then I was like, oh, I had this moment where the feeling of having it was not as good as I was expecting,
Yeah, just
because
didn't
I couldn't.
satisfy as much as you thought it would.
Yeah, and because now I had the set, I was able to make some of the characters look the way I wanted to, and that was really cool. But then it was like, well, that's about all I can do with it. It didn't fix a lot of what I was looking for, and so even in just this conversation here, like, oh yeah, but being able to have those pieces, and maybe make them accessible in a way that wasn't so frustrating to get them, might have maybe not burned me out quite as much when I finally did have them then, because the DVL event, I was one of the lucky ones. I got through it. I'm really going off on a tangent. Okay, sorry viewers. Just last to say about it. On the DVL event, I got all of it done except for the championship level in a week. I mean, it really didn't take me actually long to do that. But I have a really big infrastructure as a player. I have a lot of characters. I have all the crafters. I have everything I would need to just jump out and get rolling. A lot of experience with the game too.
Yeah.
So I had a plan of action ahead of time. I did a guide for it. I was ready. But then I had to wait like all summer long while I was constantly like checking in to see what pieces would come into the market to try to fill in the gaps that I had, and all of a sudden you're kind of getting tired of always looking and wondering if this is the lowest price you're going to get, and am I overpaying, am I underpaying, and it was kind of a big mess. Where if I had earned up currency instead, like a DVL currency, you just walk up to the vendor and say like, yeah, here's the set I want, and buy it. That would
have been a much cooler way of doing it.
Yeah, and then everybody, and maybe the sets like Revenant Reborn are more expensive, and maybe you've got to invest a little bit more. But I think players are totally willing to do that if they know the prize at the end of the tunnel. And I'm a very big believer in that. Little things like that, I feel like, everybody wins. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're running short on time now, so we're gonna have to finish this up pretty quick. So if there's anything you want to add real quick, then now's the time.
Absolutely. I think as far as like little changes for the game, the entire game engine. No, just kidding. That's that'd be fantastic. Actually, my one little note would be if they could actually add a few more NPCs that run on some kind of schedule in open area spaces. And this is something that, having stepped into other games that are quote unquote open world, I find that Star Wars is actually very static. Unless there's players moving around in a space, everything basically just stands there. And something that I just feel would be bringing a little bit of quality of life to the game is actually just adding NPC action. NPCs that are buying and selling stuff over in the corner, that move in traffic patterns, that that fill in the space in these amazingly beautiful environments.
Yeah.
But you'll go to seriously go to Rishi, and you'll just go there and nothing's happening. You go to Zeost, nothing's happening. And well, that's a dead planet, that doesn't really count. But you kind of get the idea. Where you go to a planet like Nar Shaddaa, there should be things happening everywhere around you, and it's a little thing. It doesn't even affect the players, as far as you don't have to change anything of character models or anything, but just adding some life into these environments, especially because so many of the buildings are so tall. Every environment you go into, if your character is like 6 feet tall, the roof in every structure you're in is something to the effect of like 20 to 30 feet up. They have this massive amount of space above your head, and then all the space around you. It feels sometimes like you're running around an empty world if you don't fill that space up. And if I was able to go to my stronghold and have that same feeling, where the NPCs that I set up, like if I set up my companions in specific spots, it'd be cool to see like that would be their starting spot, and then they move from room to room or do something there. Like, oh, I set up a medical counter here, so I see one of my companions like getting healed up, or something like that, like laying in a bed and getting fixed up, or you see your droid companions like working on their weapons, or you see your like whatever. Just that little bit of life to the environments, I think, would be huge.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I really like that idea, actually, just having like NPCs and stuff in your stronghold, like just roaming around and doing stuff, and actually, I don't know, maybe farming the crystal decorations and stuff. That'd be really cool. Because it would add on as well to like companions going and selling junk for you. Instead, they can actually go and farm the crystals and other resources you have in your stronghold. That'd be pretty damn cool. All right. So we're gonna finish this up now because it's very late for me and Sam needs to sleep. But,
absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining me for this. It's been really, really, really cool. Hopefully, we can do something again pretty soon.
Oh yeah, man! Just let me know anytime. And to all the viewers out there, thank you so much for watching this channel and getting information from Sam, because that allows guests like me to come on and suck up.
Oh yes. So with all that being said, I reckon that will be the end of this video. Once again, thank you for joining me, Zach, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Anytime.